All right, everyone, let's dive into two incredibly important updates for Social Security in 2026. These are things you absolutely need to be aware of. The first one is a critical development that we must monitor very closely. It could have a significant impact on your benefits, so you really want to stay on top of this. The second is something that, honestly, you can completely ignore, and I'll explain why in a moment. For those of you watching this later as a recording, even if the video runs long, don't worry. I'm only going to spend the first 5 to 10 minutes on these urgent Social Security alerts, and then the rest of the time, around 50 minutes or so, I'll be answering live questions from viewers. These questions cover everything from living on Social Security alone, issues with cars and other expenses, survivor benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, and more. I even tackle some specific challenges people are having with their benefits, and we'll look into those together. Now let's focus on the first critical issue, which has really been developing for decades. Since 1935, there has been a push, mostly from Wall Street and other financial interests, to privatize Social Security. This effort isn't new. Many of you might remember the attempts during the Bush administration, when there was talk of partially privatizing Social Security through what they called a backdoor approach. That was essentially the first step toward full privatization. Fast forward to 2026, and those discussions are resurfacing. Recently, the Secretary of the Treasury hinted at a similar backdoor strategy, and the president commented that a privatization model, like the one used in Australia, is being seriously considered. 2026 could be a pivotal year. There's a real possibility that these decisions could happen quietly, behind closed doors, with big financial interests influencing policy. Wall Street has been eyeing Social Security for decades, recognizing the massive trust fund that's been building since 1935. They can't just take it outright. They have to create conditions that make privatization politically and socially acceptable. One of the ways they've been doing this is by slowly eroding trust in the system, degrading customer service, and creating frustration among beneficiaries. For instance, recent massive relocations and staffing reductions within the Social Security Administration have made it harder for people to get help, and that's part of the strategy to make people feel Social Security isn't reliable. The impact could be significant. According to the Social Security Trustees report, projections indicate that without reform, beneficiaries may face cuts in their payments within the next few decades. Estimates suggest a reduction of around 23% if nothing is done. That's a substantial decrease, meaning if your check is currently $1,000, it could drop to around $770 in the future, unless protective measures are enacted. This situation is compounded by decades of insufficient political action to shore up Social Security, with the last major adjustments happening under the Reagan administration through retirement age increases and taxation changes. Even now, some Social Security benefits are still partially taxable, and this continues to be misunderstood by many. All this underlines why 2026 is a year we have to watch very carefully for any backdoor privatization attempts. The second update, the one you can largely ignore, involves AI-generated misinformation circulating on social media. In the past few months, I've noticed at least 20 new channels popping up, claiming to provide Social Security updates, often using AI-generated avatars of well-known personalities like Dave Ramsey. These channels are consistently misleading people, spreading panic about supposed deadlines, sudden $2,000 checks, or changes that could supposedly affect your benefits if you don't act immediately. This is completely false. If you received your Social Security check in October, November, or December, nothing changes in January. This misinformation causes unnecessary calls to Social Security offices, clogs the system, and prevents real assistance from being provided to those who truly need it. I know this firsthand because I ran the third largest Social Security office in the country, and every time something like this goes viral, our phones would be overwhelmed with questions about misinformation instead of processing legitimate claims. Now, let's move into some live questions that highlight real-life issues people are facing. For example, someone shared that they've been without a car for 2 years and now need repairs but can't afford it. If you're in a similar situation, here's a new approach we're trying. If you can find a mechanic or a shop willing to help at low or no cost, you can submit a short video of your situation through my website, mygovexpert.com. This allows us to verify and connect you with resources while keeping things transparent and secure. Other questions involve common concerns about Social Security. For instance, someone on SSDI asked whether there's a $20,000 limit on savings. The answer is no. If you're receiving Social Security disability insurance and not SSI, the amount in your savings does not affect your eligibility. The distinction between SSDI and SSI is crucial. SSDI is based on your work history, while SSI is a needs-based program. There are no restrictions on how much money you can have in your bank account for SSDI, but income from working could affect your benefits. Many people also ask about working while on SSDI. Yes, you can work, and there are work incentives built into the system, including trial work periods and limits for substantial gainful activity, which for 2026 is $1,690 per month. You don't need to worry about every dollar above that. Social Security has structured protections to encourage returning to work safely while maintaining benefits. If you ever need a reference, my website has a free PDF detailing trial work periods, extended eligibility, and substantial gainful activity. Privatization concerns naturally bring up questions about how benefits could be affected. If Social Security offices were privatized, the overhead and profit-driven motives could lead to significant reductions in benefits and inefficiencies similar to what we've seen with Medicare Advantage plans. The difference is, Social Security affects millions of Americans directly, so any mismanagement or risky investments, like we've seen with AI-driven financial speculation, could have a huge impact on ordinary retirees. Historically, when Wall Street profits at the expense of government programs, the public shoulders the risk, as happened during the housing bubble. Other practical issues we cover include enrollment and penalties for Medicare Part A and B, common law marriage proofs for Social Security purposes, workers' compensation impacts, overpayments, and ongoing disability reviews. For example, if you miss a continuing disability review because the office is under-resourced, don't panic. Your case won't be closed arbitrarily. Similarly, life-changing events like income reduction can be addressed with the SSA 44 form to adjust Medicare premiums or other deductions. Many questions revolve around managing earnings limits, suspending and resuming benefits, and navigating overpayments, and all of these can be handled carefully without risking your benefits if you follow the proper steps. In short, 2026 will be a pivotal year. We need to monitor potential privatization efforts closely, stay grounded against misinformation, and make informed choices about managing our Social Security benefits. Keep your eyes and ears open, ask questions when needed, and share reliable information with your friends, family, and community. By staying informed and proactive, you can protect yourself from unnecessary stress and ensure your benefits remain secure. Remember, a lot of people out there are struggling, and our role is to help each other navigate this complex system.